Hello, welcome to Geekonomics. We are back for another edition. OGs with you, Marc and Bryon here to talk all things news, fun stuff, interesting things, and of course, at the very end of the show, we will be reviewing and going over WandaVision episode 3. So, Bryon, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Mark. I think we doing this weekly with the shows at the end. I kind of planted our last episode in some WandaVision fan pages on Facebook, and the reception was good.
Nice.
So I'd like to keep that up.
Well, thank you all for joining us and adding to our fandom. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I got a couple people saying they subscribe to us now, so I'm hoping we can continue that, and going forward,
really need to thank Disney, because Disney's basically giving every podcaster, content creator content for the next 3 years. So we appreciate you, Disney, for giving us weekly shows to review. Every week, giving us a structure so you don't have to find things to talk about.
We were running out of ideas.
We were running out of things to talk about.
We really were. I mean, that last
Disney swooped in with the save.
Before Mandalorian, I think.
It was getting tough to find things to talk about. We only have so many top 5 lists we could go through.
Yeah, so many themes,
Yeah.
But Mark, like we start off every show, just quickly, what have you been up to, and anything worth mentioning that you've been watching, reading, or playing, or even listening to?
Well, we've talked about this multiple times on the show, and we've debated this topic multiple times on the show as well. But during the week last week, we got our cable bill, and then an email talking about how the rate was going to be increased to a rate that was already almost $300. So the wife and I sat down, had a long discussion about it. I did a lot of research, and we decided to cut the cord. So we are now cord cutters. We've joined the vast changing of
majority of America,
how things go now. So had a terrible experience the second time I went to Comcast to drop off the actual equipment. The first time they were the kid was like, sure, okay, no problem. Went back, drop off the equipment. The guy was not very friendly. Kind of gave me attitude because I was leaving the company, even though.
But you're still using.
I have nothing to do with it. I already left the company, so I don't know what you're worrying about.
Yeah, but you're still using the internet, so they're still getting your money. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're still getting your money.
We're saving $200 basically.
Yeah,
it went from $300. I mean, it's still crazy expensive for internet, which is ridiculous, but
$100 for internet is okay. We all know the U.S. has some of the most expensive internet. Other countries have better internet, and they're paying $25 a month for it.
Yeah.
That is something that needs to change over time with these companies. Sadly, I don't see that happening, but I will tell you, paying $100 for good internet is way better than paying $300 for a bunch of channels you don't watch.
Exactly. That was our thing, is we sat, went through what actual channels we watch and what our viewing habits are. And it's basically sports. It's just sports movies, and Claire watches The Simpsons on Disney Plus when she comes home from work now. That's her thing. So it was we don't really need 500 channels of nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, good for you. I mean,
yeah.
I've argued this point. If you have cable plus subscription services, you're paying way more than anyone else.
Yeah.
But if you just have subscription services, you can cancel anytime. You don't have to always have them. I have come and gone on Disney Plus, and that's great. You can be hey, for the summer, I don't want Netflix because they don't give me anything. Cancel for the summer, and then in the wintertime, you can go back to Netflix and binge all that content you missed. I mean, that's a great thing. And you don't have boxes, cords, contracts. It's all garbage. It's garbage.
I mean, there's still the part of me that feels like I'm cheating, because I do my job basically revolves around there being people subscribed to cable boxes. So,
but you're not in that. You don't live in that
yes,
area.
that was my one justification for it. It's not my area. So
I don't live in my area.
exactly.
And,
So it's
and also, listen, there still is a need for people with cable, especially people who have kids. They usually do have cable. Cable is still relevant to those folks and to an older crowd.
Yeah.
To younger people, say the people that are in their 20s probably are never going to get cable. And the people being born that are like 10,
they'll never see cable box.
They don't give a shit about cable because
Yeah.
everything's on demand.
Well, they're also just born, so they don't really give a shit about anything besides.
But I'm saying when they're our age, they're gonna be like, "What's cable?" They're not like they didn't grow up with cable. So I think
we'll be the last. I've had this discussion I think with you before that we will probably be the last like people that work in our jobs.
Probably. Give it 50 years. I think in
it won't be there.
60 years it will be phased out.
Yeah.
But cable will kind of be like like a newspaper or the radio, like it'd be kind of like an old thing. Like
there's still radio. It's not like you have in your car. It's not like it's not.
But not a lot of people talk about listening to the radio, and I'd much rather listen to my own music, or people listen to satellite, or people listen to an iPod or your phone. People aren't like, man, I can't.
I would say more the iPod is that than it is the radio.
I can't wait to listen to 96.5 today. Nobody says that anymore. And people get their news from online. That's a lot of newspapers went out of business.
And it's why way the country is the way it is, because everyone gets their news from online and not from actual reputable news sources.
Well, all those news sources are online now, and they are reputable if you go to them.
Yes.
That's a whole different discussion.
Yes.
But I'm happy, Mark. I'm glad you guys did it because I think it's freeing. And
I mean, it's just been the weekend. We haven't really had that much time with it. We've already had one little burp where the Fire Sticks burped and had to restart the Fire Stick as we were watching something, but that's about the only.
My Fire Stick, I'm on my second one. I always they put a new model out every year or two.
Yeah.
And I try to stay with that because what happens is the content becomes bigger and there's HD and the 4K. And then the older models can't handle it, so they always So I always
it's a brand new one. It just burped over the weekend. It just need to be restarted.
That's gonna happen. I mean, it's technology. It's not perfect.
It's just learning what the issue is as opposed to with cable, you just redo the cable box and restart it. So just finding the troubleshooting things.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Mark? Is that that was your big thing?
That was about the big thing. I finished Snowpiercer, which I think I talked about last week.
Yeah.
New season starts tonight. I'm excited.
Nice.
Even though Fubo doesn't have TNT, so I'll have to figure out how to watch it. I'm assuming Hulu.
But it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing it the day after kind of thing, or if it's
I bet you they are.
If they are, then that'll solve that problem. So
yeah, and I mean,
so it's just small things, but didn't really watch anything crazy. Nothing. Didn't really jump into anything because mostly just researching the old over the top services last week. That was my main project.
Yeah. Well, Mark,
Bryan,
I finally finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Finally.
109 hours. I've been playing this game since before Christmas. I
could have built a deck in that amount of time.
Oh my god. Anyway, fantastic game. And they brought back a legend in the AC community. The AC mythos. They brought Desmond back, baby.
Oh.
Now listen.
Well, now I'm interested.
I would recommend you playing this game.
Now you piqued my interest.
Because there are each area is like a mini story, which I love.
Did he die though in the originals?
I'm not telling you anymore.
Okay.
You gotta play. They're bringing him back, baby. I was mind blown. I was so.
I mean, that was basically the whole reasoning for playing at the original 3. That was the game.
Yeah.
The Animus stuff was not the game per se.
It was the game,
but I mean, it was more
he
evolved.
His storyline was the through line to those games.
Yeah.
But
to me, once they got rid of that, that's when it kind of I had lost interest because that was such a good you had that as the catalyst for everything, and
They're bringing him back, baby. And this game was so much fun, and I haven't, the last Assassin's Creed game I played that was in the newer generation was Black Flag. Now I've been playing them in order, and Black Flag is I played them all up to Black Flag, and then I just haven't had time, so I haven't played Syndicate, Origins. I haven't played any of the newer ones, but this is the first one I played. And man, I loved it. I recommend it. Desmond's gonna be part of the mythos now. I don't want to tell you anymore. Highly recommend the game. You can beat it in 60 hours. I chose not to because I upgraded my character. That way, when I was playing the story, I was just like killing guys left and right. I had no problems. It was great. So that's just on me. That's the way I played. But
so you play every game?
Not really. Most games
Red Dead, you're like
70 hours.
An armored horse basically by the time you got done with it.
Yeah, but Red Dead for me, I finished it in 60 hours. I didn't play over. I haven't played a game over 100 hours in a very long time. It was, I think, Grand Theft Auto 5. I got really close to 100 hours because I was trying to do everything.
Yeah.
This weekend we finished watching Schitt's Creek. I have not cried. The last two episodes, I cried both episodes. Then we watched the making of, and we both cried. But it's weird. It's not a cry. You're crying because it's over, but you're crying.
It's a satisfying cry. It's not a.
Oh my god! It's so satisfying, and it's a fucking feel good show.
Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely love that show. I think it will stand the test of time. It's a classic, and man, I was like holding back those tears, man. I just couldn't do it. Allison's crying. We're both. And wow, that show's got such heart and soul, and it's funny, but at the same time, it's so sweet, and it deserved all those awards. That final season, holy smokes! Whew. I'm glad we took our time watching it because it would have sucked to go through that in a weekend like you did. I couldn't do it.
I didn't go through it in a weekend. It was a couple. It was a couple days.
It's a couple days.
It's like a week.
Oh, it's such a good
6
show.
seasons, so it took like more than a week. It was probably a couple weeks. But you watch when you watch it, they're like 30-minute episodes. So you can blast through them pretty quick.
I enjoyed every blasting through 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And then I highly recommend Narcos. We are gonna finish it tonight. We have 2 episodes left. Pascal, man, he is just this is before Mandalorian, but he's such a good actor, and this show really is just awesome for him. He is more in season 3. The first 2 seasons are about Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
And then season 3 is about the aftermath, which is even crazier. And his character gets to shine more in 3.
Because he came on after he left Game of Thrones.
Yeah. This was actually his first show after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But he's in all 3 seasons, but his character gets to shine more in 3 because it's more around him. They're trying to get the Cali cartel, which is a remnants of Pablo and his gang. The corruption in Colombia and everything that happened was just so deep after Pablo Escobar. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend that show. We're gonna finish it. And there was an article over the weekend about Pablo Escobar. He had a personal zoo on his property, and he brought over all these animals. Well, he brought over hippos. He had 3 hippos. Now there are tons of hippos, and they're ruining the water with their poop. They're eating things they shouldn't be eating. And now they don't know what to do with all these hippos because they're basically destroying the nature of that area because hippos aren't supposed to be there.
Yes.
So they don't know
Escobar's hippos. It's a whole thing.
Castration has
Yeah.
been talked about, or a culling, which would be killing them. Then you have people trying to protect them that like them.
Yeah.
But hippos can be aggressive towards people. There have been attacks from these hippos. It's a whole situation. I mean, this guy, he's a situation. He just gave
Yeah.
situations to everybody. Even though he's dead now, they're still dealing with his aftermath. So
Yeah.
pretty nuts. But that's about it for me, Mark. I got tons of news. We got tons of news to go through.
All right. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Big trailer drop. Did you watch King Kong versus Godzilla?
4 times. Still don't understand why they're doing it the way they're doing it.
What are you talking about? They've been building this up for years.
But why is Godzilla bad now?
We don't know. It's a trailer.
I know. That's my thing. The end of
I
the
know.
last movie with Godzilla being good.
The monsters are always good, but Godzilla has to get rid of King Kong. But King Kong has been brought over here on purpose. I bet you anything, maybe they team up at the end. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. It just
But
seemed
why
kind
do
of.
you say Godzilla's bad though? So I didn't get that. Godzilla.
Well, the whole trailer is them like we have to. Kong's the only one that could stop Godzilla. Like Peter Skarsgård's character is like, we gotta get Kong because he's the only one that could stop Godzilla. And that girl that was in the first one was like, oh,
Are they weaponizing King Kong? We don't even know if his character is on the good side. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that trailer, it's very ambiguous. I honestly believe it's the people pitting them against each other. I bet you anything.
I don't know. It seems weird because like Millie Bobby Brown's back in it, and she was like
she was in the last one.
Yeah, her and Friday Night Lights, the dad there.
Yeah. I mean,
so I don't know. I will have to see the movie, of course. I'm going to see the movie because it's on HBO Max.
Yeah,
but
I'm so pumped.
The trailer just I don't know. I didn't understand the trailer.
Well, I'm glad they didn't give a lot away. I am so pumped for this movie. I'm actually disappointed I won't get to see it on a big screen. I'll just get really close to the TV like this.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. Also, over the weekend, Resident Evil 8 The Village had a big presentation. They surprised everybody with a PS5 with this cool demo. And I played it and it freaked me out. I had my headphones on and it was creepy as hell. And
even just the still that goes through, like if you're through Facebook or whatever, just the still of that lady like weirds me out every time. I'm just like, I don't want to look at that.
Dude, so there's no combat. You have to get out of the cell. Yeah. And there's like, so I'm walking and I have my headphones on and all of a sudden this body just falls from above me. And I'm like, oh, I audibly, whoa. So I get out, right? And I hear the voice of the woman saying something like, I'm following you. And I literally looked over to my left and I can see the figure of this woman standing in one of the corridors. And I'm like, I'm not going that way. I darted because I had the key now. I can get out that door. I darted for the door. This woman, these bees or bugs show up, turn into this woman. She lunges at me. I get past her. I get to the door, I open the door, and that big tall woman opens the door and like, oh, it's crazy. Like,
welcome to the village.
Oh, dude.
The village pops up on the screen. M. Night Shyamalan shows up. It's great.
It was awesome though. I can't wait for that game. That game comes out like in May. Very excited.
Then everyone finds out it's fake, and they're really just in a neighborhood, and they have to find the highway, and that's the whole video game.
That's it, baby.
That M. Night Shyamalan and goes, oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
The aristocrats.
This news, Mark. I know you'll have a little bit more about this, but today they announced WWE to shutter streaming service.
Yes.
Move all its content to the Peacock in a new deal.
WWE has had a contract with NBC for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been on the USA Network for multiple years now. When Peacock first started, WWE sprinkled content onto the Peacock. Like they had some free stuff on there for folks to take a look at, and they would have certain things they'd throw over there. WWE's been talking about getting rid of the streaming service for a while now.
That's pretty amazing.
They have 1.2 million subscribers or something like that. Some crazy number like that. Um, it was started off. They had a deal with the MLB because they built the streaming service for them.
Yeah.
Based off the Major League Baseball streaming service that they have. So they kind of did that, but it's never really like taken off like they wanted it to. Like they like threw a bunch of original content at it for a while. None of that really stuck. So they kind of just like, it's just been the place you just paid $10 a month and you got to watch the pay-per-views. So you didn't have to pay $60 a month to watch pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it turned into. So they opened up a free service this year where you can just have you didn't get the pay-per-views, but you could still watch all the other content and stuff on it.
Right.
So it was kind of heading in this direction. The thing that surprised me was earlier last week, I should say, NBC Universal announced they were shuttering their sports network at the end of the year.
Yeah, where's that going?
And all that content, their contract with the NHL ends at the end of the year. So they're not sure what that's going to go, but everything else is going to the USA Network, which will make the USA Network like one of the biggest cable networks going right now, because they'll have NASCAR, Premier League soccer, the WWE content, and a bunch of other, like all the other stuff that NBC Universal has.
Yeah.
And if they keep the NHL contract, all that will go to the USA Network as well. So it could be a huge change of things. And now like people are like now saying, oh, well, that's where the money that was going to be spent on NBC Universal is going. They use it to basically get the exclusive rights to the WWE Network. So the email I read today, because I am a WWE Network subscriber, was all you pay $99 a month now. You're going to become a Peacock subscriber mid-March when they switch it over, and instead of $9.99, you'll pay $4.99, and you'll get like the basic tier of Peacock.
Yeah,
which you can upgrade to the ad-free version.
$10 a month.
$10 a month,
I
which I'll probably end up doing. Yeah,
I have that.
Yeah, which I'll probably end up doing. Which works out for me because getting rid of Comcast meant getting rid of Peacock for free. So I was gonna re-up on Peacock, but now I'll just wait till my subscription slides over to NBC, and then just up it to $10 a month that way. So
there you go. March 18th.
Yeah,
the WWE Network will exclusively be available the Peacock.
Yeah,
so that's soon, very soon.
Yeah, so I mean, the Royal Rumble is in the next 2 weeks, the 31st. So it's next weekend actually. This coming weekend, this Sunday. So that's like the last big pay-per-view that'll be on their own network.
That's crazy.
It makes sense for them. I mean,
it makes sense.
They'll now just get the money instead of having to do all the production work for it. It'll now be someone else's problem.
Well, yeah, the streaming side of things. They don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, they'll just send the content to them and they don't have to worry about managing it and everything.
I think that's kind of the future. I think all these streaming, we've already seen it with HBO gobbling up the DC app and all these smaller ones that have come out. Bigger ones are going to come out and gobble them up via CBS All Access is going to be going to Universal Plus.
No, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Universal's NBC. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Paramount
they announced
Plus.
that over the weekend officially too. That came across my emails as well. That like they're already starting to change logos on the app and everything. So
I mean, personally, I might get Paramount Plus because it has more content.
Yeah, because now it's going to be not just CBS stuff. You'll have all the Paramount Network stuff, and you'll have all the A&E, and I think there's another couple channels.
Viacom, all the Viacom stuff from Comedy Central, Comedy
Central's on HBO Max.
Some of the episodes. Yes.
Yeah.
Comedy Central stuff is interesting because like South Park and stuff like that went over there, but anything that was made by Comedy Central that's Viacom owned.
Yes,
Like South Park is not owned by Viacom. I think Matt Stone and Trey Parker,
Warner Brothers has the streaming, the distribution rights.
Yeah, they own that show. But like, if anything, it was made in house by Comedy Central. That's Viacom.
Yeah, like the Daily Show and all that stuff. Yeah,
CBS owns that.
Yeah.
So I might jump on board to see if there's anything on there, but I there's more options for me because I didn't care about Star Trek. I didn't care about anything on there. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth keeping it because I was going to get rid of it, but now I'm going to keep it. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Because now Claire can watch her Bar Rescue whenever she wants.
There you go, Bar Rescue, baby.
I don't know.
That's a great
show for some reason.
I love that show too.
Oh, God.
There's nothing wrong with
the same show every episode, just different people.
Yeah.
None of the restaurants survive afterwards.
Generally, they don't.
If you ever want a fun thing, go on. There's a website that talks about every Bar Rescue episode, and they talk about how after every time they go to save a bar, it never survives.
Generally,
it's a very low rate of bars that survive Bar Rescue.
I hate to break it to you. If you sucked owning a bar before, you're still going to suck
afterwards. Yeah. No matter how much you polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad because some of those makeovers are fucking amazing.
It's crazy the amount of money that's wasted on people.
Yeah. And I love the episode.
And there's just some people who just not own a bar to begin with.
Right. No, my favorite episode.
It is probably like the one thing that people think is so easy to do and ends up like crashing and burning.
Yeah. Mark, my favorite episodes are the episodes when a family owns it and you have the alcoholic that's a manager and he just drinks everything.
Yeah.
I love those episodes. Those happen a lot too.
Yeah. The crazier ones, the ones who are like halfway through, even Taffer's like, I can't do this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
This is not happening. This isn't going to work.
I know. I love when he yells at people.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. And then at the end they hug.
Yeah.
You're going to be good. You're going to be
fine. You're going to be okay.
No?
I'll see you in 3 months when I buy your property.
Yeah. Over the weekend on Friday, this is the last bit of news I got. Video game news. Friday, generally, when people dump news on a Friday, it means it's going to be bad. It's not going to be good. Yes. And they don't. And they're hoping it will get buried. And
that's usually when your boss calls you in the office. That's when you know it's a bad situation.
Right. Well, Microsoft decided, hey, we're going to raise all the Xbox Gold membership prices double. And we're going to just drop this on a Friday. And hopefully nobody makes a big stink about it. Well, $60 has been the norm for Sony Xbox. If you want to play online, you pay $60 a year. That's pretty much the way it's been for years, for 15 years now. Well, Xbox Gold put an email out, and they were going to double it. It was going to be $60 for 6 months, then $120 for a year, and they were basically raising their prices. And people were like, "What the hell? We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are losing their jobs. People don't have enough money, and you're going to double it? Not even by $10. Okay, $10, people might get mad, but they'll get over it. But a whole doubling it was kind of crazy. So the internet went nuts. And by the end of the day, this is something that doesn't happen very often. So I have to say good job on Microsoft's part. They retracted and said, you know what? We listened to you. We're not going to do this. It doesn't mean they could do it in the future, but they said, we listened to you, and we're not going to raise the prices. And on top of it, Xbox was the only ecosystem where you had to pay online to play free games. Now, what I mean by that, Fortnite, for example, is a free-to-play game. On Sony, you can play it online and not have to pay a $60 fee. On Nintendo, you can play it online without paying their $20 fee. Xbox was the only place you still had to pay online to play free-to-play games. So Xbox said, we're also going to take away that barrier. So a free-to-play game currently, which is Call of Duty, their online is free-to-play. You don't have to pay online anymore. Also, good news for me, because the only game I'm waiting for to play online with our friends is the new Halo game at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't need gold anymore, and I don't have gold, and I didn't really want to get gold to play Halo for a couple days and then never play it again. So I'm so happy that now Halo multiplayer will be free for everybody, but you don't need gold to play it online. And I think it's a win. I think by Microsoft doing this and people pushing back and them actually listening and saying, look, your competition's doing better than you right now. Why are you doing this? You know, your systems aren't selling. People can't find them, and now you're going to double up on online. So I'm happy they listened. I think it was a smart move, and I think it was just good. Finally, a company listening to the people who use our products, I think it's a win for consumerism and competition. Because that's like shooting yourself in the foot, doubling your price like that overnight.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It was so silly. And then
we have a guest coming in, I believe.
Oh, Bobby's coming on?
I believe so. The lawful waffle. Well, before we get into that, Brian.
Oh, what?
From the No Good Deed Goes Unpunished department.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 put out a patch last week.
Yes.
And in putting out this patch, added another game-breaking bug to the game.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to play this game. I'm holding on. I'm not going to play till all these patches are out.
CD Projekt Red acknowledged the issue and offered a workaround before a full fix is added.
Yeah, don't play it. That's a workaround.
Or don't buy a game that's broken.
Or don't put out a game that's broken.
Yeah.
Or just don't download the patch.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
What a cluster that game is.
Well, they fucked up. That company really fucked up. Talk about goodwill gone bad. They had such great will with Witcher 3, and they fucking
poor Keanu Reeves got sucked into that stink pile.
They flushed it down the toilet.
Yeah.
So, Bobby, what do you got for us before we get into WandaVision?
Yes, Bobby was very adamant. He posted during the week on our chat that he'd found a random snack that he wanted to try on the show.
To derail the show.
To bring back a summertime segment. And he heard that we had some new viewers.
He heard the show was doing very well, and
he wanted to bring it down with a lonely god.
Just one lonely god. This lonely god is from Taiwan. It's a potato starch, palm oil, scallion powder, a wonderful crisp. And I thought, if it's okay with you guys, I would share it with you on the show.
Yes.
Do it up.
He traveled all the way from 1988 using his
AOL.com,
his AOL online.
And now he's gone.
Internet.
His AOL. He dialed up his hamster's running to get
his hamster's running in a wheel right now as we speak to keep his internet going.
Oh, wait.
What is going on?
Wait.
We can't hear you.
Where'd I go?
We can barely see you.
Yeah,
Eat your chips.
It's like an old time movie. We should have subtitles because we don't understand you, and everything's moving like.
You could put a sepia filter on the screen right now and play some organ music and sound just like a regular movie right now.
It's like a 20 frame per second video.
Is this better?
He's got headphones from the 1960s.
Nothing is better. Okay, do the chips.
All right, eat your chips, all right? So you can move on to the show.
I know, we gotta move on.
With your...
Shouldn't you take the gloves off?
These are fantastic. What?
Nothing.
No, these are fresh gloves.
Are they good? What do they taste like?
Well, I gotta admit, the scallion isn't really there. In fact, there's nothing really fishy about this wonderful snack. This lonely god, man, it really should really get on Bumble or the other one because it doesn't deserve to be as lonely as it is. Yeah, Grindr. Yeah, I mean, look at that cherub.
I mean, everyone's able to have.
You tell me, especially that guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. Yeah. He kind of looks like you.
I already found love though, but thank you.
Oh.
I found it on the dance floor.
How's the family, by the way?
Fine, I guess. They live in a different state.
Oh, good. Yeah, Connecticut sucks.
Yes.
All right, we're going to WandaVision, Bobby.
This is well
Thank
worth
you.
it, Bob. We
Yeah.
appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you guys too. Bye.
Bye.
Well,
we apologize to everybody for that interruption.
The audio version, I think I might just cut that out because you really can't. You don't get.
You don't get the effect of what was going on, man.
No. So if you want to see it, I guess the video version will be up. But
well, luckily, if you were here for the video version, you got to be a part of that fantastic segment that Bobby wanted to throw into the show. This happens when we are nice to people and let them do things on our show.
Yeah.
When people take breaks from their job.
Talk about goodwill. We had goodwill.
Wearing their 60s era headphones.
Those are noise canceling headphones. So he doesn't hear the traffic as he's delivering the mail.
Yes, because that's always good when you're walking out in traffic to not be able to hear the traffic coming.
He had blue gloves on, which makes me feel like those are gloves to get, not like
rubber gloves. Yeah.
But then he's eating, like they're keeping the germs.
Questions. You don't ask questions of the body.
You're wearing rubber gloves to keep COVID and germs away from your hands, but then you're picking up food and eating it wearing said rubber gloves. That makes no sense. You should take the gloves off, then you eat and put the gloves back on.
Or even more crazy, if you've been handling mail all day, wouldn't you take the gloves off before you put something in your mouth?
Clearly, Bobby is not thinking.
Yes.
Well, you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
He's not. We already knew he wasn't thinking. He thought that was a decent segment for the show. And he thought coming on with his dial-up internet connection on his cell phone.
My God. Oh my Lord. All right. It is now time for WandaVision, Mark.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. Now, let's start off the same way we started off last week.
Yes.
Your first reaction to episode 3, and then we'll get into it. I'll give you my first reaction. My first reaction is I loved it. This was my favorite one of the 3. And I was like, oh my God, we got more information at the end. I absolutely loved the whole episode.
Yes.
The stork thing, I felt was a little too long, but beyond that,
it was just part of the shtick of the era of sitcom it was based off of.
I don't care. I'm telling you how I felt.
I know. I'm just saying.
What was your first reaction to episode 3?
First reaction, as soon as the show ended, I literally said this out loud: "Shit's about to go down."
I think we have a few more episodes, but yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, but we're gonna get a lot more outside the illusion, I'm assuming, in these next couple episodes.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
We're going to go through the 80s, the 90s, and I think once you get to modern times, the facade might be blending.
Crumbling, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like
it's starting to crumble as the episode went on. You could see it was starting to, earlier in the episode, you had the guy trimming the hedges, then he started cutting through the wall, which in my mind was him, trying to cut his way out of the illusion.
Or he's just not, he doesn't know what to do.
Well, he's fighting the illusion, is what I'm like. The people inside the town are starting to figure out what's going on. They're starting to figure out, trying to figure out a way out of what they're stuck in.
They're self-aware because the two of them, the two neighbors, were having a conversation. About Geraldine, and they're self-aware, and he almost says to Vision, "We are," and then she shut him up. So they're self-aware that they're in this illusion, and maybe they have become self-aware a long time ago. Maybe.
Well, my thing is the question I started to come up with after the show was, are there people in the illusion that wanted to be in the illusion?
No.
And are there people in the illusion that don't know they're in the illusion? That was my thing. Is Agnes's character one of the ones and the other neighbor, do they know what's going on? And they're I think they're not okay with being in it, but they're we could figure this out. We'll just get through it, kind of thing.
I don't think they have. I think they're being controlled because we know Wanda can control everything. This is her thing, and we know that they have an ability to speak, but I don't think they have an ability to leave. And unless Wanda pushes them out.
I wonder if they know what's going on, and they're like the beginnings of the like I don't want to say like the rebellion, but like the people that are going to try to get out kind of thing. Like if they're like the resistance to what's going on, they're like the ones that know, and they're like trying to keep an eye on what's going on.
After what we heard this week, they know. I mean, they were talking about Geraldine, and they almost slipped the information division. So they know, and they knew Geraldine was not from in there.
Yeah.
She has no family. She has no home. She's an outsider. How'd she get in here? So I think they're self-aware. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Mark. I guess.
Or do they even exist? That was my other thing. Are they just like conscious, like computer characters kind of things? Like they're not like humans, or just like
maybe they're a part of Wanda's.
That's what I'm talking about, like consciousness kind of thing.
Yeah. So this whole episode is about Wanda giving birth to twins, and Vision being excited to being a new dad, and antics ensue. The doctor, I'm going on vacation, and Wanda's like giving birth all of a sudden because she has the babies in rapid time.
Because that's my thing too, is I'm the more I like thought about the episode and rewatched the episode again, I started to wonder if the only person that's actually in this town right now, the only person in there is Wanda.
Yeah.
And she invented all this other stuff. Like even the people that are in it might not be real. They might all just be,
I think they're real.
Figments of her imagination that she like has created to populate this town. Because if she can she could bring back Vision's, like bring back Vision basically in her head.
Yeah.
What's to say she couldn't bring back or invent all these other people just to fill up this town to make it feel like it's a thing?
I see your theory. I don't 100% buy it. I feel like these people are real people just stuck in this town with her, and they're being controlled by her.
So it made me think that was at the end of the episode where they show the town sign. It's a very run-down town sign. It's like an abandoned town almost.
Yeah, yeah.
And with the shot, it was dark, so you couldn't really see a lot of detail and everything. But they had that long shot of the sign in the town, and everything looks like dilapidated.
Yeah.
And like it reminded me very much of, which is kind of like a weird thought. Like, do you remember in Indiana Jones? I want to say one of the newer ones, where he goes to the town where they did the missile testing.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it was like the town was there and everything, and then they dropped the test of the bomb, and then the town gets blown apart.
That was in Crystal Skull.
Yeah, but it reminded me of that kind of like town. Like it was a town that was invented for this. Now it wasn't invented for Wanda to take over, but it was like a town that was invented for missile testing. It was just left out in the middle of nowhere, and this is where Wanda happened to wander off to.
It could just be an abandoned town.
That's what I'm saying. And there's no one in that town. I'm thinking Wanda went into this area and domed it with her magic, and is populated it with all these people.
Could be.
And none of these people really exist. Like it's her own consciousness, like talking about Geraldine.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't let Vision in on it, because they're all parts of her own consciousness.
Possibly. It's a good theory, Mark. I like it. I mean, Geraldine's she got in because she works for SWORD, and that's actually Monica Rambeau.
Yes, from Captain Marvel, the daughter.
We met her, as a little girl in Captain Marvel, and she is Spectrum in the future Avengers. She is Spectrum now. Right now,
Quasar, or I think she has a couple other names as well.
She's not. She doesn't seem to have superpowers, and she seems to be working with SWORD because she's got the necklace, which I thought was an odd choice to have a necklace of.
Well, she didn't have it at first.
It was on her the whole time.
But if you watch it again, before she mentions Petra or whatever his name is, Pedro or whatever his name is,
Pietro.
You don't see it, like you don't notice it, and then when she mentions it, it comes outside her shirt basically and is dangling. So I think that was like the weird thing. Like Wanda couldn't figure out who she was until she like asked about Ultron.
Once things got heavy, because there was a moment where Vision started seeing through the cracks, and it glitched, and he started over.
Yeah.
And I think
that was like the other episode where she said no and rewound the video.
Yeah.
And this one, the technology has gotten better where you don't see the edit as much.
Yeah. When things get heavy and bring it back to reality, she
can't handle it. So
she's like, I got to stay in this facade.
This is where I'm safe.
Yeah, I don't want it. I'm severely depressed that I lost my brother.
Yeah.
I lost the love of my life, and I don't want to escape yet.
Well, the thing is, from the comic books, which I was meant to go back, and I wanted to like try to figure out a way to reread it digitally or something before this week, and I didn't get a chance to. Having the twins and the whole thing with her, with the stork, like you were talking about earlier, being in the shot too long, was her not being able to control her magic because of she's like expensing her magic, kind of.
Yeah.
Like she's using up it's taking too much for her to be able to do this now.
Well, all that power
gradually starting to crumble.
When she was having those contractions, it was just like people were like having power outages around her and everything. So like her power is just being used up. And I that's why I think when we get to the 2000s, the facade's going to come crumbling because it'll be modern times. So I think we're going to go through the 80s, maybe the 90s. I don't really know, but I know we're going to go one more episode, at least in the 80s. But I think her powers are being used up. And I did do research about Tommy and Billy, the twins. Yes. And it's interesting. There's so many, because it's Marvel, they've done different storylines.
Yeah.
But I guess in the original, she loses her kids and she creates Tommy and Billy to kind of deal with the loss of her children, and then she has a break, and then she says no more mutants, and she destroys all the mutants. Then they actually come back. They bring Tommy and Billy back later on for Young Avengers, and they were Wicked and Speed. Yeah, that was their characters' names. But the original, this is very dark. So in the original iteration of Tommy and Billy, she gives birth, and Mephisto was,
a lot of people die.
Mephisto was behind her having these kids.
Yes.
But she didn't know that. She thought her magic brought these kids to her. And then Mephisto basically absorbs the children. And in the comic, Mephisto's standing like this. Yeah. And the babies are the hands. Yeah. It's so dark. Yeah. And then he absorbs them.
That's a lot of people are like, is this leading to Mephisto as the big bad for the next phase? Or
I mean, I don't
there's
think
a lot of theories on what directions they're going with this.
Yeah, like I don't think it's a Mephisto thing. I think it's her dealing with her loss, but these are Easter eggs, I think. Yeah. Because I don't really see Mephisto coming in and absorbing children, because that would be very dark. They're
heading towards Avengers Dark, so, which is Constantine and all that. So they're going to be heading in a darker direction than they do now. So
we don't know that.
I mean, Moon Knight's a pretty dark character for the Marvel.
Yeah, but that's a show. I'm talking.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's all part of the same phase. They all intertwine together. So.
Yeah. But I will say, like, I think Tommy and Billy are just more of an Easter egg. Will Tommy and Billy, as kids, actually be real when she comes out of this, or
I don't think so.
Will they be mutants, or is this just part of the facade?
I think it's all part of her imagination.
Right. I think these are all Easter eggs. I think naming them Tommy and Billy is just an Easter egg for the comic fans.
Yes, I think it is. It's a lot of fan whatever they call that fan, like feeding.
Fan feeding. Well, it's
I can't think of what they. Yeah.
I would say fan service.
That's yes, thank you. That's what I'm trying to think of.
But fan service is more blatant. This isn't
Yeah.
very. If you don't know who Tommy and Billy were in the comics, it goes over your head. Like
yeah.
I think these are cool Easter eggs. I think it would be interesting if these two survived and we got, but I don't think they are. I don't think
anything. I think the only person that's going to survive this whole thing is Wanda.
Right.
Or the people in the town right now.
If
I don't think there's anyone else in the town that's an actual human.
Yeah.
It might have been based off humans, but I don't think they're actual people. I think it's all a figment of her imagination.
Yeah, totally agree.
I could be wrong, but that's my theory. Is I think it's all in her head.
Yeah.
Because if she could invent Vision being alive, then she could invent other people being alive just as easily.
Yeah, totally agree with you. So, did you notice the Shakespeare quote that Vision gives?
I don't remember it exactly, but I remember him saying it.
So Shakespeare says, "All the world's a stage, all men and women merely players."
Yeah,
which is interesting. Why would he pick that one quote?
Yeah,
it's interesting because, well, that's what we kind of think is going on.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool little Easter egg there. We also saw the Hydra soap.
Yes.
Hydra soak advertisement.
Hydra soak. Yes.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of cool. Then we have Monica's Gravity O cereal.
Yes.
With little moon men, and that was Geraldine, which makes sense because she could have been in outer space. She's working with Sword. And then the big one, this was kind of cool to hear Pedro's name in Ultron. It makes me kind of want to rewatch Age of Ultron. Because I that's like the one Marvel movie I watched once. It wasn't my favorite.
It wasn't as bad as it was when we first saw it. I'll say that. From multiple viewings, it's probably the least strongest Avengers movie of the grouping.
I think it was very ambitious, and I just think there was a little too much. I think it just had some problems that I think were glaring at the time, but I think time is probably more favorable on it, and you can watch it.
It was the one that, it's the one that leads to Thanos coming, basically.
Yeah. Well, at the end.
Yeah.
But
so it's a pivotal movie in the storyline.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a very weak. This wasn't as good as the other ones, is what it was. It's not terrible. It
just shows you that Josh Whedon isn't that good.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. Yeah.
I think his strengths are in television and comics. I don't really feel he's a great movie director.
I mean, he directed the original Avengers too, so I mean,
yeah,
I can't really say that was
good.
Yeah,
I think the stress got to him, and I don't think
it was at a bad point in his time frame.
I don't think he was a good. I mean, I think the pressure was probably too much for the guy. But you're right. The first Avengers was awesome.
Yeah.
So I think this was a great moment because we're getting a connection there, and her Russian accent comes out a little bit. Which
it does. Cool. It slips out a tiny bit because she says Sokovia, and then she sings the
lullaby. I'm so glad they got rid of that accent.
Yeah.
When you watch Ultron, it is god awful.
Yeah. His isn't much better either.
No, they're both bad.
They're both bad Russian accents.
Yeah, I mean,
it's bad when the girl that's actually imitating is actually a Russian in her original character does a better accent than the people that are supposedly living in Russia at the time.
Yeah.
Like Scarlett Johansson's Russian accent in Avengers was better than their fake Russian accent.
And she got rid of her accent.
Because she was yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they got rid of it because it's not needed.
Yeah. And going off that, there has been rumors now of Disney leaning towards Black Widow heading to Disney Plus.
Is there rumors or what's the rumor? I haven't heard anything.
That they're getting to the point where they can't keep pushing stuff back.
Yeah.
So they're kind of coming to the realization that they're going to have to release this movie.
I mean, come on, just do Disney Plus and do it in the theaters at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see, Black.
There's just not. I don't think there's any way that you're going to be able to, at this point, justify pushing things back.
So 2 days ago, this is coming from WeGotThisCovered.com. Marvel reportedly considering Disney Plus release for Black Widow now. So,
yeah,
right. Kevin Feige hopes that Black Widow will release in theaters as scheduled in May.
Yes.
Which I don't think seeing happening. If it wants to make money, it's not going to make all that money. But we also admit that confidence is meaningless when it comes to the current state of the industry. After all, No Time to Die and
which is now pushed back to 2021.
Yeah, and Morbius are two of the first major blockbusters to blink and start out new dates.
Yeah.
With countless more following suit over the last couple of days in the first half of 2021 attempt empties out. And they're already canceling big events too.
Yeah.
Like the Comic Cons and all that stuff, it's already being canceled because they know we're not going to have the vaccine in our arms by May. The way things are rolling out, we're not all going to be safe or feel safe going.
Yeah.
And if they can't make the big bucks they're used to, what's the point?
I think at this point, it's also like we're on the Marvel side of things. It's getting to the point now where you can't keep pushing things back.
Yeah.
Because you're going to start causing like continuity issues. Yeah. Like the whole point of WandaVision was to lead into Doctor Strange. Like it was supposed to originally come out right after WandaVision ended. And now you're going to have to like wait basically a year until you get Doctor Strange. So it's going to be like you're going to have to like re-release or like re-promote WandaVision to be like, don't forget to watch WandaVision before you go see Doctor Strange.
I don't, the diehard
fans, it all leads together.
Yeah, but people see it, they know it. I mean, I don't think Marvel has to worry about, we're all trained at this point, Mark. Come on.
Well, I know, but it's just like
if you're in the MCU, you know what to know. But you're right. They can't keep pushing things because that pushes other things. And
because also like I've actually like seen in like the dollar stores the Black Widow toys.
Oh yeah, the toys came out.
Because it's just they've had them for so long that they've hit dollar stores at this point. That means it's been like the tail end of their life in stores. Well, so you've lost that like promotional connection now to that, Mark, and that's going to start happening with the other movies because the toys aren't going to keep being pushed back. They're going to release
toys. Were at Target in May. Wonder Woman toys all came out in May.
Yeah,
like, when these movies were supposed to come out, the promotional foods they all went out. They were done.
Yeah,
the promotional toys all went out.
Yeah,
so like the movie will eventually people can it could be ruined by a potential toy.
Well, like the Black Widow toys, like Taskmaster was released as a bad guy, so everyone knows he's the baddie in Black Widow.
Yeah.
At this point, so it's like you're kind of lost that surprise, and same thing that happened with all these other toys, like all the other stuff that's going to be coming. It's supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah.
The toys aren't going to be pushed back because the toy companies aren't going to lose that money.
They could or they could not. It depends what kind of relationship they have. But I think if Disney just says, look at what HBO is doing, put it in the theater, the people who want to go can go see it, and people can watch it at home. It's a win-win for everybody. And I get it. It sucks, but we're in a pandemic. Come on.
Everything sucks.
Everything
sucks right now.
Yeah. I don't care, at this point. If they're like, hey, we can push it another year, I'm fine with that. But obviously that will change the entire MCU future. So, because they'll want Black Widow out before, like you said, it's a domino effect. This is what happens when you have such a big plan, a pandemic comes along and fucks it all up. But yeah, WandaVision, I would say, like, we're getting into the meat and potatoes. I think we only have, there's 9 episodes.
Yeah. So you have like 6 more.
We have 6 more. My
Yeah.
prediction is 80s, 90s, 2000s,
2000s, and then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, I think 2000s. That's where it will be current time, and I think that blend will be like a wake up call. Like,
Yeah.
she can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do this.
Yeah.
And all secrets will be revealed. I like your theory, Mark. I still think those people are real people.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see
Yeah.
who's right. I was right with the first theory, so we'll see how the second one goes.
Yeah, I do like your theory, though, that they could just be parts of her mind,
Yeah.
and she's struggling with things, and you have part of her mind wants to tell the truth, but it's being suppressed.
Yeah.
So that
I think it's like her mind's fighting itself at this point. Like,
yeah,
these computer characters, so to speak, whatever they're called, like NPUs, whatever they are.
Take that. I wouldn't even use that term NPC because that's a computer thing. I would.
Yeah,
say,
but I'm saying like the these imaginary characters are her consciousness, and that's why they're like talking like she doesn't have a place, she doesn't live here, she doesn't have a thing.
Yeah.
But then I think there's also another part of her, like the girl whose hand got cut and you saw the blood. I think like that side of it's going to be the one that's like saying, oh, this isn't real, you know, Vision's really gone and all this. They're going to be like fighting, like parts of her brain basically are going to be manifested in these people.
Yeah.
About one side thinks that Vision's like everything's fine, hunky-dory, and everything's great, and the other half is going to be the you know, we need to start dealing with this and getting over this and moving on.
Right, totally. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be where we're getting towards.
Totally. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's gonna be good. A lot more Easter eggs. I think I might rewatch this one episode before next week's. Whereas the first 2, I'm fine. But I really like this one.
They're definitely episodes, like every episode you have to watch once through to like just get the show and watch it, and then like I found like the second time through is when like you can like not pay attention to the story and the acting and all that stuff and kind of like look around the screen and see the different things.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they hide things like the cereal and different little things they hide like in the set and of what's going on.
I would say the acting and everything is fantastic. I think I think
even the comedy timing is great. Like they even do like the great, like the scene where Dottie comes out of the room and he goes, "Do these make me look fat?" And the power goes out. And the guy goes, "Thank God." He's like, it's like, whew, dodge that bullet.
I think Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, she should be nominated for Emmy. I
one
really
scene at the very end where she's standing over their crib and Vision walks in and goes, "Oh, where'd Geraldine go?" And she goes, "She had to leave." And she just has like that look on her face and the way they're shooting it up at her, and it's like, oh, the villain shot of just like she's gone, she's not here anymore.
So let's talk about the ending before we wrap this up. We get Geraldine through the bubble. You see the sign, like you said,
through the illusion. Yeah,
she lands. We see people swarm her. We're assuming that's Sword at this point. That's got to be Sword. I mean, so Geraldine got in somehow, and somehow
that's the thing is I think in the first episode where you don't see Geraldine in the first episode.
No, she was in the second.
It's a 50s episode, and there were no. I don't want to sound.
There was no black
bad towards 50s. There were no black people in 50s TV shows usually. So she wasn't in that episode, but they do show the hand at the end of the episode writing in the notebook, and then that thing closing. I think that was her taking notes about what's going on.
They had I don't think that was her because they had the monitor. Obviously, they have some sort of
way of getting inside.
They know what's going on, so they probably said, "Okay, you're going to be our intel. We're going to dress you up. We're going to get you what's going on in there and match you." And then she showed up in the second.
And I think the guy coming in through the sewer grate was, I think, another person trying to get in.
Yeah, I think so too.
And she caught it.
Yeah, That happened in episode 1, right?
2.
There's 2. So I
That's why I
feel
did
like
the rewind.
he could have been putting in another, like some sort of a listening device, or putting in some cameras, or you're right. I mean, he was trying to do something.
Yeah.
And he was.
I think that guy's dead. I don't think he survived because she caught it. And instead of expelling him,
she's not a
from
killer.
the bubble,
She's not a killer, though. I think she pushed them out. I don't think she's a killer.
you
can't
think she just pushed him out to the
just
bubble like she did with Geraldine?
Yeah. She's not going to kill people. You can't create a sympathetic person like this and have them killing people.
Well, I think that's where we're heading. I think there's a lot of people are going to die.
No, I don't think so, because then she would have to die. And a story standpoint,
well, we don't know how it ends.
From a story standpoint, you can't have someone going through this horrible because people died, right? She's better than that. She's a hero. She's not going to be like, well, because my brother died.
Well, many heroes have broke before and done bad things.
But it would kill all goodwill you would have in sympathy towards this character, and I don't think Disney Plus is going to go that direction. It's
a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
and I'm telling you why.
Superman went bad and hurt people too. So
yeah, but that movie sucked, and there's a reason for that. Because
it happens.
I'm just saying, Wanda is not going to be a killer.
Godzilla's gone bad, and he's blowing up ships with people on it. So
yeah, he's always had. That's why he's Godzilla. But I don't.
Can we just go back and real quick talk about that trailer scene at the very beginning of the trailer where they're standing on top of the aircraft carrier? Godzilla and King Kong.
Yeah.
Mine explosion. Sorry.
That was pretty awesome.
Just popped in my head that scene.
Listen, I just want Godzilla and King Kong to fight. That's all I want.
That's all I want.
I don't give a shit who's the villain. I just want them to fight.
I was watching the trailer on my phone, and Claire's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer." She's like, "That's a movie that's just made for guys. That's a guy movie. It's just like,
well, duh.
No girl's gonna go and watch Godzilla vs. King Kong. Like, well, that's why they're putting it on the HBO Max, because they know no one's gonna see a bunch of guys watching. HBO Max being like, "Yes, blow up things."
I watched Kong. Me and Allison watched it. We both liked it. I watched the first Godzilla in the theater. Then I saw the last Godzilla in the theater, and we watched the show. She might watch it. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for HBO. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Anyway. Back to WandaVision. I don't think Wanda's killing anybody. I think she's going to push them out. People aren't dying. And we saw what happened to the beekeeper. She reversed time. And
well, you don't know what happened to the beekeeper because
magic.
You don't see him. Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't kill him. She's not a murderer. Because honestly, on a writer's standpoint, to go that direction would just be like shitting over everything you just saw and be like, well, and then be like, well, why did I watch this? She came out of something tragic just to be a killer.
Well, I mean, if her, the thing that disputes that theory is if the people inside the town are real.
Yeah.
She is torturing these people.
Yeah, but they'll all live.
Yes, but they're all going to be messed up for life because they've been trapped in this illusion for so long.
But they're not dead.
It's cutting hairs very thin there.
Not really. A character
torturing people and making them think they're living in a world that doesn't exist.
At least they live.
Could be just as bad as killing them because they're going to be so messed up afterwards that they'll be insane and not be able to live with their own reality.
Okay. All I'm saying is, on a writer's standpoint, you can't just make us feel sympathy for a character for 8 episodes to come find out she's a mass murderer. Then you don't like her anymore. And then it'd be like, fuck you, I'll never watch. Who gives a shit about WandaVision? I give no shits. I hope she dies. Like, that would be an FU to the audience from a writer's standpoint.
But if she does it all, like, my thing is, if she does it all not knowing she's doing, like, if she just has a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Like, this is the beginning of a psychotic break. This whole thing.
Obviously, yeah.
Is her psychotic break happening.
She's going through some
shit.
If
during this psychotic break, she breaks beyond, like, anything that we've ever seen before in the Marvel universe, like saying her kids die in this story, and she just can't handle anything anymore, and she just snaps and just goes insane for a little while, like has like the psychotic break.
But
I'm just saying there's a possibility she just ends everything, and unfortunately people die, and then she's like, has to like deal with that and has to come back, and that's what leads into Doctor Strange, is her trying to like fix what she broke, kind of.
I don't know. I see. Because
like it's a redemption story for her.
She's grieving death, so she's a hero's journey is not going to be like, I'm grieving death, so I shall kill.
She doesn't know she's killing. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Because I don't buy it. She knows she is broken right now. She has no idea. She's not really in control of her own faculties.
No, she is in control. She's in total control. We've seen her. She does
parts
things.
Of her in control, but I think there's other parts of her who aren't in control. That's what I'm saying.
She has. We have had 3 examples that she's in control. 3 examples. We have not seen any examples that she's not in control. The only time she was not in control
parts of her not being in control is like the beekeeper coming in, getting in. So then
they're not part of the world.
Consciously comes back.
Yeah.
You have Vision's character gradually like catching on to things, and then she has to try to fix it.
She fixes it.
Yeah.
She's in
control. I think
she fixes it.
It's a false sense of control. I think she is making herself feel like she's in control, but she's really not in control of what's going on.
I don't think one person's going to die.
Well, we'll see.
She will not personally kill a damn person.
I don't think she's going to do it consciously. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she's going to do it knowing she's doing it.
I don't. Okay, so my money is she will not kill anybody. We saw Geraldine get thrown out. I bet you anything, anybody's just going to get thrown out. That's it. They're not going to die. That would be a big FU to the audience, I think.
I think it's just, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, in the comic book, she kills a lot of people.
Yeah, but she kills all the mutants, but we're not.
And humans. She kills some humans too.
But there are no mutants in this. So, I mean, she makes them all disappear, but
we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
I don't think she's killing anybody. Yeah. It would totally turn the audience on her. You don't want that. You want someone to come out.
I understand, but I just wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of like crazy thing that happens. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, we'll see. It's a good bet to have.
Yes.
All right. So I would say for me, WandaVision episode 3 is a solid 4, almost 5 stars for me. I'd say 4.
4 out of 5. Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I'll give it like a 4 as well. It's not totally everything I want to see. I'm assuming there's going to be more that's going to be crazier and more fight scenes and craziness occurring in the next episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to like waste a 5 now. I'll save the 5s for when it gets really crazy.
Yeah, I think 5. I think that they're going to be the end half of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just going to see. It's definitely made me excited for Fridays again. Back to like it was Mandalorian was when the Mandalorian was coming out, and I was ready for Friday to come.
Yep.
To catch that next episode. So
Friday nights, once Allison goes to sleep, I put my headphones on, I watch WandaVision.
It's like first thing I wake up in the morning because Claire's at work, so I just wake up, get me my WandaVision, then get to work.
I'll probably be like that for the final 2 episodes because the final episode, if you don't watch that first thing in the morning,
just like that's what it was Friday already. I was already getting the stuff on the YouTube already. People releasing their reviews of it already, and it's like
yeah.
The more we get closer to the end, the more it's gonna be people immediate.
Yeah.
Like with the Mandalorian 8th episode, it was like as soon as it came out, people were at 4:00 in the morning were posting things.
Yeah, because they watched it at midnight. Yeah. All right, Mark. This has been a great show. We'll be back next week with more news. WandaVision episode 4.
Thank you to Bobby for stopping in and eating a couple chips for us. We appreciate
derailing the show completely, which we won't. We'll try not to let that happen again.
Yes.
It might happen in the future, but
it'll happen. It's gonna happen no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you all for joining. We appreciate you all hanging in with us and sticking around. And if you're new to the show, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah.
Geekonomics. You got something, Brian?
You can follow us on Twitter, Geekonomics.
Yes.
And you can like us on Facebook and YouTube channel. B&M.
You can also check us out on Tout. and on
Bumble,
MySpace.
MySpace.
We're on all the defunct
Friendster.
social networks.
We're on Friendster.
Yes.
No, YouTube.
Facebook. We're on that as well.
You can watch us on YouTube. All the videos are on YouTube as well.
Yes.
So, all right.
If there's anything else you want us to talk about besides this, or any news that you know of that you want us to talk about, give us a shout. Until then, we'll see you, and good night.